Hello, greetings, and thanks for following, and thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. This is another Chipmunk Chronicle. This is another day in the life of Butterfly Poet. So I'm headed to my urogynecologist's office to drop off the CD of images from my MRI with and without contrast that was performed in 2 segments last week. I'm not doing good today. I had a very stressful day yesterday, and I'm currently at work, and as usual, I just got to keep it pushing and keep it pressing. Yesterday, my aunt called me, and the connection with her on this journey, has been a work in progress. And she's always been a strong figure in my life. She's always been present. She's always filled in the gaps that my mother did not. So wherever I was abandoned by my mother and wherever I needed supplementation, typically my aunt, my grandmother did that. So there's high reverence there. Even though this particular topic for her has been difficult, and we've had some discussions that were difficult for her and or me, it's come to a better place in that she's understanding more. She's understanding, like, this is a sensitive topic. It's not just a whim, and she's become supportive and an advocate in such a way that it didn't quite start off like that in the beginning with our understandings of one another. But there has always been a level of concern from my aunt. Always, always. I need you to not get frustrated with what you're... Ethan, just turn it. Just turn it in the other direction, hon. Just turn it and it'll work. I did say I was at work, right? Ethan, turn it the other... Do you need help? You just want to work it out in a pile of trash? Hey, Ethan, do you want help? Ethan, gather yourself. Gather yourself. Shh. Shh. There you go. There you go. Okay. I will help you achieve the goal of running the stroller through the house. There you go. It just got stuck. There you go. Have at it. So my aunt called me last night, and we had a discussion on Saturday. Hey, here's the update about my MRI. This is what's going on. It doesn't seem like it's adenomyosis. It definitely is fibroids. There could be other small ones or whatever, but there's 3 that I know of, but these 2 in particular are problematic. I may have to have a surgery, to get them removed before the transfer, and it could be 6 months before the transfer. So I just give her the rundown, because she asks for updates. Well, that was Saturday. Yesterday, she called in tears. I know you're going to get upset. I know you're going to get angry with me, but I just have to say it. I'm like, no, I'm willing to hear you out. You know, you give me a precursor like that, I'm willing to hear you out. And I can appreciate concern. You know, I just want to have conversations in a respectful way. That's all I ask. I don't mind, you know, someone telling me that they're concerned or they, you know, or whatever. I don't mind someone speaking their part and their piece, as long as it's done in a respectful, considerate way. That's how I'm willing to have a conversation. And all of a sudden, she starts pouring out in tears and she's weeping, and she's concerned for my life. She feels that I'm doing extreme measures just to get pregnant and just to have a baby, that I could have adopted a few kids by now. And she's concerned that I'm old and that how do they even know I can carry a baby, and who's to say that I won't have a miscarriage. And she just spilled all of her concerns. It was heavy. I appreciate where she's coming from. I appreciate her concern. And she was honest. She said, Kim, if I had a choice between you and your baby, I'm going to choose you. I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to choose the baby. I'm going to choose you. Hey, I get it. I mean, that's something a spouse would have to, battle with. Like, when it comes down to a decision or, when in an emergency, I get it. But it was heavy. I could not answer all of her questions, and one of them was, when are you going to stop? What's your limit? What's your cap? Like, how far are you willing to go? And I says, well, a myomectomy is not extreme. A myomectomy is a very common surgery. Some women, have a myomectomy, get pregnant, then have a hysterectomy. Some women have, they get the heat treatment or whatever treatment he talked about to shrink it, but that's typically after a pregnancy and not before. So, I could not answer her question saying, what's your cap, what's your ceiling, where are you going to stop, and just go ahead and adopt. Can you simultaneously adopt while trying to get pregnant? Hell, I don't know if I can do all that. You can very well start off a foster parent, but that doesn't mean you're going to keep a kid. That's not a guarantee. It's kind of like the same thing, and then I'm in the middle of a proposition to purchase the condo that I'm living in. That's a lot, I don't know if I can do IVF and setting up and starting out, foster/adoption procedures simultaneously. And adoption is not out the picture, but I'm gonna see this through because I have 2 embryos, and with insurance and FDA and AMA regulations and whatnot, there's lots of timelines here. There's insurance issues. There's many parts. But what I did tell her was that there's a doctor who specifically looks at me and my body to see if I am healthy regardless of my age to do this. I don't have high blood pressure issues. I don't have cardiovascular issues. I don't have diabetes. And I was clear. Her question was, well, what are you going to tell the kid about the father? What if they ask, where's my daddy? Well, it's no different than being a single parent and knocked up by a dude who ain't shit. Except my story, I believe, has a little bit more integrity. These aren't things that are going to stop me from having a kid. It's just, they will know the age-appropriate truth. How'd you find a battery? Can I have that? Can I get that? Thank you. All right. Thank you. I'll take it. You give it to me? Can I see it? Where'd a battery come from? Okay, you put it in a drawer? Thank you. Yay, good job. So, I don't believe that I'm doing extreme measures. I just believe that I'm going to see this through until the transfer is done. And her response was, well, then you don't have a cap or limit. According to the options and the choices I have now, I don't find them to be extreme, and I would say no. The only thing I'm opposed to is an open myomectomy. I would prefer a robotic myomectomy. When we're not exposed to certain things, they are always new to us. And they are not necessarily extreme because we have not heard of them. Unfortunately, in the Black community, Planned Parenthood is abortions and birth control pills. And she kind of didn't agree with that, but I'm like, no, that's what's presented to you. They don't talk about freezing your eggs. They just talk about birth control and then not having a kid, and then that's all they give you. You walk into a Planned Parenthood, what are they going to ask you? Are you here for an abortion or birth control? They don't ask you, well, do you want to freeze your eggs so that you can travel and go to college and get married and travel first and then come home and have a kid? They don't ask you that. So I understand and I appreciate and I get her concern. I get her fears. And I'm glad that she was able to call me and say, hey, I'm scared for you. But at the same time, I don't know how to educate someone on how to see this as this is sort of what's normal when you have fibroids. And heavy periods and what's not normal, and being told that you just have to deal with it, and being told, well, I had a heavy period too. And, she says, well, I have heavy periods and I don't have fibroids that I know of. Right, that you know of. A pap smear is not going to show you have fibroids. I told her this goes back to where my mother did not disclose her symptoms and her issues that are now directly connected to infertility. So I'm not doing anything so extreme that's putting my life at risk. I, have been told that I'm healthy enough to carry. The only thing that's the issue or concern is the shape and the condition of my damn uterus. I'm vocally tired. I don't know how to educate someone to the point to where I can convince them. That's not what I can't do that. What would you like? What would you like? Huh? Water? Milk? Okay. Let me know when you decide. I don't like being put in a position I don't like to be put in a position where I'm made to feel like I have to give an answer that will soothe someone else's shit. And I'm not saying that that's what that is from her. I'm just saying, and I told her, I hope I answered your questions, but the only thing I know that I don't want is an open myomectomy. It's the same as a C-section. It's the cut. It's the time off work. It's the healing. It's the recuperating. But because there is a possible 6-month wait of healing before I can transfer with the results of what this MRI is showing, her thing is, well, you're going to be close to 50, and that's old, Kim, and that's old. And I'm like, well, shit, I don't want that either. It wasn't I tried to do the right thing. I tried to wait on God and, get a husband and, not have the appearance of just, getting knocked up and a typical baby mama and, all of that. And I had the church in my face, and I had, the circle that I was in, and, my family. And she's like, well, I had kids out of wedlock. I'm like, well, that was you. I mean, that don't mean that I didn't want to hear, and I didn't get to the I don't care point until in my late 30s. And that's when I started this journey of preparing to have a kid. So, fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Peace and gratitude.